Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's me, your girl Sarah Donald, and today I want to talk about Anthony Joshua and the title Nigeria Happened to Anthony Joshua. Now, I remember that day was during Christmas. This is January now. I remember seeing a video of Anthony Joshua just getting into an accident, and I just remember saying, "Oh, thank God he's alive. Thank God, everybody's fine." And before I saw another post to say that the accident had claimed the lives of two foreigners. That's how it was reported. And we're like, oh no. I was like, oh God, no. I even thought it was one of those foreigners that walk a lot on that because the road construction and all. And then they go further to release another one to say that the people that the foreigners that unalived has also been identified to be with Anthony Joshua. And that's when I started seeing. So, first of all, before I even say anything, my heart goes out to the families of Anthony Joshua, his friends, anybody that, lost someone, especially through, this festive season. It can be really hard. I just really pray for you. And I say, may the souls of the departed rest in peace. Now, I saw so many things Nigeria has happened to Anthony Joshua. And the first thing I said is, oh, Anthony Joshua. Now, we know that Anthony Joshua is a Nigerian British boxer that has maintained his Nigerianness. Like, you might think about Chiwetel Ejiofor and you're like, oh, it's Chiwetel Nigeria, oh, it's Sophia Konodo Nigeria, or maybe by their name. But you cannot think about that when it comes to Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua he flies the Nigerian flag high. Anthony Joshua comes to this country almost every Christmas. I don't know if it's every Christmas, but I know he comes to Nigeria. I even saw it because when he comes, he will make video, he will mingle. A lot of he's someone that is in the system. He gives back. Even one of his friends that unalived was actually doing this massive project. So he gives back. He is Team Nigeria, regardless of the negativity. So to start saying things like, oh, Nigeria happened to Anthony Joshua was weird. So I took my time, because when things happen, because I believe that two truths can coexist. I believe that there can be negligence and there can be carelessness. And if you come from a country like mine, or you live in Nigeria or Lagos, you know that Nigerians are one of the worst drivers. Like, the amount of accidents we have every day, it's really the grace of God keeping here. If not, we are meant to be having more accidents. I mean, in Lagos, they recently did a coastal road. Because of the traffic and all, it wasn't fully done. They had to open it. The amount of accidents that's already been recorded in that coastal road, it's almost like it is bad to give Nigerians good road. Yes, it's almost like a crime to do good roads for Nigerians, because they will fly and fly. In fact, there was a particular accident that almost happened right in front of me. I think every time I went out during Christmas, there was a car plunged into somewhere this festive season. I don't like going out Friday night, Sunday nights, when I know that people are drunk, because I do not understand how you be drinking and driving. I do not understand the anyhowness of our people, how they play with life. I do not understand. So this guy was literally behind me and he was honking and he went fast. Now, right in front of me was a packed truck. The truck had just broken down. So the guy came out, how he came out to put his seat caution. He was literally just walking when this guy sped and overtook. There was a truck. This was past midnight, because that's when trucks are allowed to pass. Trailers. There was a truck just at the right. It just took 0.2 seconds. If that truck, because the trailer is long, so the guy had just gone boom, swerve, and went into the other side of the road. If that trailer was already really close, if they had to measure it, 0.2 seconds, if that trailer was another, just moved for just a second, the back of that guy's car, the side, which is literally what happened with Anthony Joshua's car, that other side would have had a high impact on the trailer. And now, because this is a highway, every other person behind would have just gone back, because at that point, when you brake, the car still moves for a while. Nobody would have been able to control themselves. So when I see accidents, I'm always like, what happened? Because a lot of Nigerian drivers here do not, because of the corruption, they do not even go for driving lesson. Imagine hiring a driver, but you're better than the driver. Yeah. Because they don't go for driving lesson. Things are hard. They just go bribe, get their driver's license, and keep going. They don't know right of way, nothing. So when you're driving in Nigeria, you're driving for yourself, you're driving for the other person as well. That's how you drive in Nigeria, especially on the highway. So when I saw it, I had to start going around like, what really happened? And I saw that this car had driven into a stationary truck in broad daylight. Guys, please remove all bias. Do you know the amount of speed you have to be on? If you drive, you know this. Do you know the amount of speed you have to be on to go straight into a packed truck, which was out of the road? Because when you see what they released, the line, you will see that the truck had spoiled and that the truck had moved itself out of the lane. So the truck was even out. That car was definitely going like over 150 to go that side. And by the time he found that, like, he found himself in that situation, the thing he had to do was to swerve immediately. And that is why that impact was only for the people in the front and at the other side. Because if he went straight in, it would have been all of them. But it had to be at the side. What sort of driving was that? And you're telling me that Nigeria happened to somebody. And you're telling me that the driver is not accountable for this. The first thing I said was, why should a truck be on the road parked there? Again, like I said, two truths can coexist. It is still normal that those trucks are one of the biggest issues we have in this country. They spoil, they park there. Sometimes they are there for weeks. Sometimes they get fined and somehow it now becomes the government's property. Even seeing this one, to see that the truck had left the main lane. You're not talking about that. Oh, I saw videos. Nigeria happened to him. There was no this. Another thing, I'm yet to see one person that said, oh, I called the emergency number and nobody answered. Do we love to complain or we actually want a change? I have been in situations where I saw accidents and nobody knew that they had to call an emergency number. Oh, in America, in UK, they will come. Do you not have to call them? I understand too that the government plays its role by, you're meant to make people know that this is the number. You're meant to announce it in any way you can. Even a child in America knows that you need to call 911. The school has a huge role, in doing this. But also we as citizens that are concerned, that need these things, that take all this content, that consume all these things, right? What do we also do to make sure that things that, instead of saying things like, you're in Nigeria, somebody's talking about domestic violence. You're in Nigeria. How many have you reported? I have been in situations where I saw this lady. She was taking off her clothes. You could just tell that she was mentally unstable. People were looking at her. People were recording. Nobody knew what to do. I dialed the emergency line and I told them, I was literally shaking that day. The woman, I thought I was talking to 911. I'm telling you. Because the lady was like, hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Like, took her time. And she asked me things like, explain the woman, where is she? Because I was just like, I don't even know if this is the number to call if this thing is happening, because I hadn't called the number for that. I know for ambulance and all that. And she was like, yeah, that's the number to call. Where are they? And I explained, and they said, oh, our nearest social worker is going to come and take her immediately. So when the woman finished, she broke down everything. I said, oh, you said she's at this junction. You believe that the thing might have just started, and you're worried that like her family members, just literally what I said to me. And this thing rang in, like, as soon as I called, they picked. And they next how many minutes, they called me to inform me that the woman had been taken away by the social workers, and or if I wanted to, follow up with the case and know about it. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't know the person. Okay, any helpful information? A week later, I got a call from a number. Oh, you used our emergency service line, so we wanted to know how it was. They asked me what they could do better. They asked me questions like, did the person pick immediately? Was there a follow-up? They asked me those questions. So sometimes, how do we even know if a system works if we are not trying it? Personally, I have said this thing before. A company I was using for a long time, I will recharge. These people, instead of giving me my 30 days, they'll give me 10. The remaining days, I will send emails, I will cost them, I will do certain things, everything I was doing. The next month, again, I didn't have a choice. I had to subscribe. I had had to say, wait, how do I know that consumer protection, that they will not actually check on this thing? Why not even do them an email and see? I did an email to them. I got a response. As if it wasn't enough, I called. Like, no, this has to be magic. They gave me a number. They followed up. This particular company reached out to me immediately. 4 different people were calling me. The manager was calling me. Why? That was when I realized that they will find them. That there's an entire office waiting for those vendors who you pay to do work and they don't do it, waiting to find them. And they opened, immediately they responded to me with an email, and that email was, they said a case had been opened for that company, and they gave them like a designated email, and they told the company, act on this immediately. So the company called me and said, oh, we're sorry, we got this, we're going to give you back your time. And the company went and responded and said, we have spoken to them, we've sorted. I responded again, I said, which sorted? You have not sorted anything, you just assured me you will. And they respond to say that they have less than 48 hours to make sure that I correct it and get back to them. These people called me. They gave me free, what do you call it? Because they said that maybe the stuff wasn't receiving, why am I losing words today? That the stuff wasn't receiving enough internet. Maybe they changed it for free. They were there, they were working. In fact, they mistakenly sent 3 different workers to come and 3 different engineers to check on it. They didn't know that someone else. Why? Because they were going to be fined. It's sad that you're in a country where people do things. When I sent money from one account to the other, I was hanging. I went to bank. They told me, I don't think I went to bank. My sister said, oh, you don't know? Email them, copy CBN. I did that. In a few minutes, I got my response. My money, I've been chasing these people for over a week. How did I get that money back immediately? My point is sometimes we don't even try the system. Because the people who flaw this system are people like you and I. That's why it looks as if on my channel, I'm not one of those people that are on the camera and be saying the government, this. Because I know that when you and I change, the government is changing. Because you know why? The government, the governors, the presidents, the House of Rep members, they are taking from you and I. What do we do when a road is built and we are speeding? What happens when we're in a position of authority? When we are given an opportunity and we don't do it well, and we are blaming it on devil. Somebody even said evil eye. I told him, why is Anthony Joshua coming to Nigeria? I'm like, what? This guy has been coming to Nigeria. You're taking away the blame from this driver that was driving so recklessly, and you're putting it on every other thing. One American lady even commented and said, oh, you all are arresting the drivers. They came for her on Twitter. They said, oh, you all are arresting the drivers. You not let the government take any accountability for the bad road. And people are like, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway bad? Like, are you all just so used to like nonsense that you don't even know when something is true? Like, make it make sense. We hide under these things and we take away accountability from us. One guy made a post. He said, Lagos is smelling. Citizens do better. Because I keep saying at the end of the day, when you go outside, the water, the nylon bags you see on the floor, it is not carried out by governors. It is you and I. You'll be in a car. Somebody will finish eating corn. They'll wind down. They'll throw it out. I have a family friend that had a major surgery because somebody in the market ate banana and threw it on the floor and she slipped. It was raining. It was not the government. It was you and I. Somebody threw banana peel on the floor, so she slipped and had major surgery. She's still on it. She's still on it because we do not know the consequence of our actions. Look at what the driver, if only he was patient, this whole thing, they would have gone and they would have come back. They would have gone and will come back. A typical Nigerian is in a hurry. A typical Nigerian person is in a hurry because we know that the blame will only go to, the government will take it away from ourselves. Now I'm even hearing that the license is expired. I'm like, what is this? But we go abroad, we don't do these things abroad. You don't do it because you know there's a fine for it. You go one way abroad, they'll take you to, like, are you okay? You must really be losing your mind for you to do it. But in Nigeria, we'll go one way and still be arguing that there was no sign, there was no this, there was no Somebody was talking about how their family friend unalived in an ambulance. And I saw a video that really broke my heart. It was this guy, he helps people with bikes. Like, he's a biker, so he does charity works biking. Do you know how long? That video was heartbreaking. He asked somebody, please, who is in the ambulance? They wind down the glass. He said, who is in the ambulance? He said, I think his father or something. I'm taking him to the hospital. Nigerians could not clear for an ambulance. This guy had to use his bike to be clearing people. A particular guy in his video refused to move. Tomorrow, they will say that person unalive from ambulance, but the part of it that they're not going to talk about is that a Nigerian like you and I sat there directly in an ambulance lane when an ambulance is supposed to go freely. It took another Good Samaritan to come out and be clearing the way. The guy was frustrated. This same guy, he does charity work. This same guy, the other day, I don't know what happened to his bike or something. Guess what? They came, the same people he helps, the same people he feeds, they stole his camera that he uses to record this sort of things. Let's do better. Because when we don't know our role in the society, it is hard. If that road was bad, and then you're like, the government, this road is bad. But when we are not doing our own part, it makes it hard. Oh, Anthony Joshua, Nigeria happened to him. Nigeria happened to him because somebody was speeding. Guys, a very popular footballer was unalived with his brother in Spain. We've had Hollywood people unalive, like in their in their countries that are supposed to be like top countries. But when it comes to Nigeria, it is that Nigeria happened to him. How in that state? Or a driver like you and I, a Nigerian citizen, decided. Lastly, I just wanted to add this here. I made a post on my thread. Please, if you're not following me on my thread name is Sarah Donald. I just saw that thread was a bit less, because I love to write, but especially when I'm not in the mood to make videos. I didn't want to keep doing that on TikTok, on Twitter, sorry. Instagram is limited. So I was like, let me start writing on trade. And somehow everything about African Americans, Nigerians moving to Nigeria 30 December has been coming to my timeline, which is so amazing. So you can follow me on trade. It's Sarah Donald. Now I went on trade to set it up. I'm like, okay, I want to start doing this, right? I want to start trading. And then I see this lady, she made a post to say, let us talk about, I don't know if I should make this as a separate video. I feel like that should be a separate video, actually, because there's a whole lot of conversation to be unpacked there. My point is, two truths can coexist. We can be lousy. The government too can be lousy. But when we know that we have a role to play and start taking up that responsibility, Nigeria will be a better place. You will not be speeding like you own the road. You will not be throwing things on the road and coming to say, Lagos is smelling, but you're clocking. Oh, Lagos is flooded. Lagos is smelling. You finish eating. Boom. That thing is too posh. Your car is too nice. Dirt can't be in your car. But no, I have a little trash bag in my car. I throw things in it. When I get somewhere that has a dustbin, I tie it and I put it in the dustbin. Because if that thing cannot be in my car, why should it be outside? Because I know the implications of it. Anyway, I end here. I just came to pour this out. Please, if you have any thoughts on this, please drop it in the comment section. Let's chat. Thank you and stay blessed.